Good evening and welcome to another edition of Thursday Nights In. Now, many of us have turned to cooking during lockdown, myself included. You're actually sat in my microwave as we speak. Now, that's not to reflect the kind of cooking that I normally do. It's just to say that this introduction will be very fast and high watted. It gives us all great pleasure to introduce Madeleine Pierard to you this evening. By night, she is a soprano. She's a diva most of the time, but she also happens to be a fantastically creative chef. Check out her blog, Diva Kitchen. Sally Burgess is on standby. If you don't know Sally, she's a fantastic mezzo. She's sung Carmen all over the world. There's not many folk that haven't seen her cigar, quite frankly. She is going to be tasting with us this evening to tell us what it tastes like, to give us all of the ooh-oohs and the ah-ahs. You know, like Gilly Goulding when she used to do that wine programme, Essence of Hedgehog, etc. Now, opera and food seem to go particularly well together, ever since Nellie Melba met a bowl of peaches. So we're going to carry on that theme while Madeleine creates canapés inspired by divas, some dishes which are hearkening to voices of our age, such as Dame Takanawa, etc. Lots of you have your ingredients already. Some of you will watch this video back and then cook. Whatever you do, send us some of your pictures. We'd love to see how you get on. And otherwise, I'll hand you over to Madeleine and I will see you tasty morsels very soon. Lots of love. Happy cooking.
Oh dear Nikki, I love him so much. I'm Madeleine Pierard. I'm a Kiwi, so I have to apologise in advance if anything I say cannot be understood. I have funny vowels. And I have with me the marvellous mezzo-soprano Sally Burgess, who is also a dear friend. And incidentally, we are not social distancing because we are in the same bubble. So I just want to put your minds at ease at first. And that is also why I'm not kitted out in PPE, which I do if I am cooking for anyone who is not in my bubble. Anyway, the first thing I'm going to do, I've accidentally already done. And that is, I'm going to turn on the oven. I'm going to pretend to turn on the oven because I've already turned it on to 180. And when it had heated up, I should have set all my blinis out on a tray to put into the oven. But I accidentally turned the oven on with the blinis already in the oven, so they are already cooked. But I basically, once the oven is heated up, put them in there for 5 minutes and then take them out. Then, once I did that, or once you have done that, switch the oven up to 200 degrees Celsius to prepare for the other dish, which is the Carmen cigar. Now, the interesting thing about the Carmen cigar is it is named thus after dear Sally, because Sally is one of the most famous Carmens ever. As Nikki said, Sally has sung Carmen all over the world, so this dish is dedicated to you. And it's essentially a phyllo pastry cigar with goat's cheese, and you might be able to help me with this. I feel like there are goats in Carmen. Was Michaela a goat herd?
No, but I did once do a production of Carmen in Bregenz.
Yeah.
At the Bregenzer Festspiel,
Yep.
Which is in Austria, and it takes place on a stage on a lake. Anyway, it was an amazing production, and we had goats in it.
Oh.
We had all sorts of things in it, but we did have goats who, I think the goats came with the gypsies.
Oh, well, that's perfect.
Yeah.
So not Michaela, but goats. So this is a lovely little pastry, which is a little bit rich. So if you are having guests and you are absolutely plying them with wonderful drinks, this will be a perfect one to have because it does fill up the tummy. I've set my phyllo out on this tray here, but I'm just going to grab another board to put the phyllo on because I need that tray for cigars. So please excuse me just for one moment. Thank you for not laughing when I just tripped over the cat.
There are two cats.
Yeah,
roaming around. I think they know that something is going on.
Right, now if you think you might work a little bit slowly, do have a wet tea towel over your phyllo pastry so it doesn't dry out, okay? Because it dries out very quickly, as you will probably discover. these little cigars, every sheet, depends what brand of filo you have, but I'm using Sainsbury's. And they are rectangular. So that makes 4 cigars per set of sheets, and each 4 cigars uses 3 of these filo pastry sheets. If it tears a little bit, don't worry, because we're doing layers. So with your butter that is in your ingredients list, I've got 30 grams of butter that I have melted in the microwave. So that is the first thing you do. You need that butter because you're going to brush it between every sheet of filo. 1 sheet on the board, see that one's just, I've been playing with it, so it's torn, but it doesn't matter. And then I actually just dab the butter over because it, you know, it spreads anyway. It's no biggie. Then we lift the next one up. We're going to do 3 layers. Oh, do you know what I haven't done? I haven't made the mixture. That's okay, we'll do that after this. Then dab the next lot. I'm going to have to put a tea towel over the filo there. So
you can demonstrate the tea towel.
Yes, indeed.
Tea towel malarkey.
Yes, I will do that. I have a very clean tea towel. Right, okay, I've got my 3 layers right there, and I'll just grab a tea towel.
Fresh tea towel, freshly laundered.
Freshly laundered tea towel.
Wetted in the...
So I've very gently dampened that, make sure it's got no runoff. And I'm just going to place that over the filo while I continue working. Goat's cheese. This is a soft goat's cheese. This is a fairly mild one, but you can, of course, get pretty strong ones. And there's 150 grams in this pot, so I use the entire pot. And I'll just pop this in my bowl. And I have actually already measured out the cream cheese, or soft cheese. And this also goes into the bowl. There's 50 grams of that. And then your chorizo, which is the Spanish part of the
What have you done with that?
So the chorizo, you can buy it already diced, but I just buy it as a whole sausage. It's a wee bit cheaper, I think. And I peel off the skin. You probably don't need to peel off the skin, but I just do anyway. And then finally chop it up. Yeah, and with a very sharp knife. It can be hard. Right, the next thing.
It's quite therapeutic, isn't it? Chopping and
I think so.
Patting and dabbing.
Yeah,
all that stuff. Very
I'm doing it a bit quickly at the moment, but I'd normally take my time. So we have a few sprigs of thyme. I think I've written 5 or 6 sprigs of thyme, but it can be more. I wouldn't put less because you won't taste it, but it can be more. So with the sprig of thyme, as you see the direction of the leaves are going up that way. You have to pull down that way to get the leaves off, just in case you've never done this before. And it's very easy and quick. See, look, an empty stick, amazing. And then I just chop it on the board, which is currently taken up with the pastry that I accidentally did before. You see, I haven't done this before. I've only done cake tutorials, which is slightly more straightforward, I think. We can get pastry and sugar.
I think it's lovely to get something for the first time. A first performance.
Yeah, indeed.
Wants to go to the first night. This is the first night.
Yes, the premiere. And just lastly, a wee bit of pepper and salt. And please excuse my fingers in the sea salt here, but my fingers are in the sea salt. Because then we just mix it all up somehow.
This production with the goats, we also had donkeys and horses and flamenco singers.
Oh wow!
And dancers and singers, and they were pretty amazing. We also had guys who abseilers who climbed down mountains.
Cool.
Anyway,
scaling the mountains.
On with your recipe. I'm just
no. Thank you. Thank you for being my filler. Speaking of filling. Now we're going to fill our cigars. So what you do it depends on how long your filo pastry is. Some sheets I've used actually go at quite a long rectangle, and if they are, as long as you've got about 10 or 12 centimetres width, you can probably make 6 out of one group of sheets, but I'm making 4 out of this one. And if I had a ruler, which I don't, I'd be able to tell you what size these sheets are, but they're probably about 25 by 30 centimeters, I would say. I don't work in inches, I'm sorry. I wish I did, but I don't. So for the next
3 by 4.5.
Oh,
3 by 5 inches.
very good. Now, there is a trick here. You do not overfill them, otherwise they will split and seep out and form a nice pile of orange gunge on your lovely lined tray. Yeah. I have to admit that Sally has actually already tried one of these. I couldn't really name a food item after someone without letting them try it first before declaring it publicly.
I'm delighted to be here to try it. I said to Madeleine earlier on, I do like cooking, but not all the time.
Yeah.
And during lockdown, we've had a lot of all the time.
Yeah.
So I'm absolutely thrilled when somebody else does the dinner and I can just eat it. Yes.
Right, so what I've done is I've made little, sorry about the cleavage shop, I've got these little kind of caterpillars of filling on my rectangles there. I can't really move the computer forward because I've got a lined tray in the way, but hopefully you can see what I'm doing. The light is a wee bit bright, I'm sorry, but what I'm about to do is brush the edges of these rectangles with butter.
That'd be useful if I did that.
No, I'd have to direct you, I think. Oh, look, you can see that. See, look, I'm doing the across the seam, so just so that it's going to seal. Right, now, important. Thank you, Sally. That's perfect. Keep going, I think, because this is important. So we're going to make it into a cigar by folding in one side and the other side, making sure that that filling is encased in that little envelope, and slightly squeeze it and make sure those sides are folded down. Then just roll.
You're not going to roll it on your thigh?
No, that would have been ideal.
Good idea. No,
Yeah.
no.
Make sure it is
Too
sealed
messy.
with the butter at the seam and put it on the tray, seam facing down. So yeah, you can probably put it down now, Sally. Now I'm going to keep going with these. There is enough in filling for 12. So I did, yeah, three sheets, 9 sheets of phyllo.
12 the edges.
Each 3 sheets makes 4 cigars. Thank you. Not a mathematician. My husband is a mathematician, incidentally. I am not. Right. 2. And for the purposes of real time, I will make the whole 12 while we're here. And Sally, it'd be lovely if you can tell us about another experience of your Carmen while. Have you ever been in a Carmen where you actually had cigarettes on stage? Like do any productions? I mean, you know.
Yes, maybe.
Before it was taboo.
The very first production of Carmen that I did was at English National Opera,
Right.
who are my favourite opera company.
Mm-hmm.
I started my career there. I went there straight from the Royal College of Music where I studied, which was just amazing, dream come true.
Mm-hmm.
After being there for a few years, I got the opportunity to be the Carmen in a new production, which was by David Pountney and conducted by Mark Elder.
Oh, nice.
And John Trelevin was the Don Jose,
Mm-hmm.
and we had a great time together. And I think we had real cigarettes in that. It was a wacky production and really brilliant production. After that, I did it at Opera North, and I asked them if I could do it in French there because I really wanted to learn it in French.
Oh, yeah.
So that was also fantastic that they gave me a wonderful French coat. Well, we all had access to this lovely French coat.
Ooh, who is that?
Well, she was a lecturer at Leeds University.
Oh, amazing.
And she was fantastic. She taught us how to do all that French dialogue. So for the first time in my life, I learned how to actually pronounce and speak French and understand what I was talking about.
Oh, brilliant.
So I was just so thrilled with that experience and her, because she was there on it all the time, telling us when we weren't doing it
Brilliant.
quite right. But I don't think that, I don't know, I think there's always cigarettes going around in the floors.
Yeah. I don't know. I've never been in a show where we've used actual cigarettes. I think, and the only show I've ever been in where we used an actual candle was the Scottish opera by Verdi.
Yeah. Did you have the safety man in the wings?
We did. Yeah. Yep. We did.
Ready
yep.
to put the fire out, should it start?
I always was worried because the candle was at the foot of the chaise longue that I essentially commit suicide on. That one's going to burst because I accidentally ripped it while I was rolling. So,
well, we can see a burst one if it does burst.
But, you know, they still taste good even when they're burst. That would be the one that you'd keep for yourself in the kitchen and serve the nice little ones to your guests. Yeah, but it never did. And I had a really long flowing nightgown and robe. So this was for ETO last year. And I never did catch on fire, thank goodness. I was always very worried. I'm always amazed, actually, at some of the, you know, they're very, very, very careful in every theatre. But there have been occasions where I have thought this could end in calamity, but it never did because the correct precautions were taken. But one of those instances, which really worried me, but it was the most amazing production, was Vickers Salome at the Royal Opera House. So I was singing The Slave, which, even though it was only a 6-second role, literally I sang for 6 seconds.
You had to hang around.
I did, but I loved it because that music is sublime.
Music. I've sung Herodias a
lot.
lot.
Have you? Oh,
yeah. Anyway, tell us your slave
It was amazing. Story. So no, it's not a fire story, this one. In the banquet scene is held in this production on a balcony with no edge. And I never figured out how it was safe because someone could so easily have fallen off, but it must have been because they wouldn't have been allowed to do it otherwise. Have I just... No, I haven't. Good. But nobody ever fell off or nothing ever happened. But the only time something did happen in a show that I was in was when there was a malfunction with one of the trucks during a rehearsal. This wasn't during a show, thank goodness, of Rusalka. And Camilla Newlund was singing Rusalka. And yeah, it had this amazing rotating stage, your rotating set, in the middle of the stage, big circular wooden platform that was mechanical, and dear Camilla was wedged in between part of the stage and a sofa that was a prop, and it was starting to squeeze her hips or something. She was very uncomfortable, so we had this blood-curdling shriek, and yeah, it was very scary, but you know, she was absolutely fine. But you know, it just makes you realise all of those processes that happen in a theatre that are just, I suppose it's kind of what makes it exciting.
Theatre is dangerous.
Oh yeah.
I've got so many injuries.
Oh really?
From being in shows, yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I have heard of a lot, but I mean, you know, I
usually my own fault. You know, you've got to learn to look after yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you're more daring kind of performer, which I think I am.
Yeah.
You know, stuff happens.
Yeah.
And you learn to do things carefully.
Well, exactly. There's all the you start to realise that during rehearsals you really do need to wear knee pads, for example. Yes. I remember during, when I was at college back in a long time ago, I was singing Cherubino, and in the scene where Cherubino hides from the Count, I was sitting with my knees up against my chin for hours in rehearsal, and I really hurt myself. And I would also throw myself to the ground all the time, and I didn't wear pads. And I learned the hard way about learning pads. I don't think my knees have really got over that, but there we go. So I've got all my, no I haven't, how many is that? Yeah, that's 12. I've got all my 12 done, and I've got some left over, I think because I slightly was a bit more scant with my filling this time.
You said they needed to be slimmer than the one that I
Yes, I know. I've tried to make them a bit slimmer.
earlier, so they're a bit more like cigars.
You can make them, you can judge the size, but you can make them a bit longer and skinnier if you wish.
Yeah, life is an adventure. Isn't
Exactly. Some people like a short, fat cigar, you know?
Yeah.
So the next job, once you've got your pretty little cigars on your tray, when I was testing this recipe, I accidentally ate eight. And so one whole batch, but almost, I managed to give the other 4 to my husband. Oh my Lord. So I have slightly ballooned during lockdown, but it's my own fault. Because the majority of the time I was either sitting staring into space or cooking or looking after the children. Mind you, they probably spent a bit more time in front of the TV than they normally do. But anyway, what I am doing, which I forgot to say, is that I'm just brushing some of the melted butter on top of the cigars here. And that is both so they can get to a nice golden colour. Then this is not diet food, let's just say. Putting it up there,
I love
it's not
butter.
diet food.
I love everything that's in there.
Good. Sesame seeds. Some lovely sesame seeds to finish it off. It reminds me of sesame prawn paper rolls that we get at in Yumcha. Dim sum. Oh, so good. Anyway.
Lovely.
Slightly mixing cultures there, but that's what makes food exciting.
Can't wait.
And then we'll move on to the Bohemian Blinis. You've sung many before, haven't you?
I have sung many, yes. Yeah. I sang Mimi at the ENO, and I sang Mimi for Opera North. Fantastic. What amazing music. Just brilliant.
Yeah. Every time. I've done that show so many times, and I am always floored by the final scene. I cannot get through even a rehearsal without crying in the final scene. Every time. Just those horns in the final, you know, always, every time. So I have scattered some sesame seeds on the buttered tops, and now I'm going to pop them in that oven, which is already preheated at 200 degrees Celsius for 10 minutes. Now, what would have happened had I not already done the blinis is that a timer would have gone off 5 minutes after I put them in while I was working on the pheno things to tell me to take out the blinis. So hopefully you've done that. And I'm sorry. So 10 minutes.
Okay.
Timer. I actually put it 8 minutes to check. This oven is not my oven, so it might take a little more time. It might be hotter, so always check.
It's a television oven. This is a television kitchen.
Oh, it is, isn't it? Anyway, right. The next job are the blinis. Now, what I'm going to do, these are on the tray, but I'm going to put them on a nice plate so they don't look so boring. So I'm just going to find a plate. One moment. You know, you think you're prepared for everything, and then you just discover that you're not.
You just have to totter over there. If I was a camera girl, a camera lady, I'd be showing you
Yes. Artistic shots of the
picking
kitchen,
out a lovely
etc.
white plate from your pile.
A plate.
There we are. Lovely.
Blini that are pre-heated. Right, there we go. Now, also, I thought because of time, I didn't make the blini from scratch, but you can. They're generally made from buckwheat, and there are recipes online everywhere. So
Little pancakes.
Yeah, little wee pancakes, or I suppose some people call them pikelets, don't they? But in New Zealand we have sweet pikelets. You know about pikelets.
Yes,
I
was born in South Africa.
Yeah.
So we have sort of different words for different things, different words for the same thing. So yeah, my family called them pickles.
Yeah. The next stage of this. So I've called this dish, well, this canapé, the Bohemian Blini with smoked salmon and poor man's caviar. Kind of because of the feast scenes in La Boheme, and the guys, they're constantly talking about food, you know, they throw a fish around, that sort of thing. And I'm using not lumpfish caviar, which I put in my ingredients list because I couldn't find it at the supermarket, but this one, which is formed herring, which is very cheap. Actually, yeah. So it's even less caviar-y than sturgeon. But anyway, I do something different with the cream for this, and that is that I make a wasabi creme fraiche to put on top. So it's not like the smoked salmon cream cheese, and I think it's such a beautiful, tangy, yeah, it's perfect, the combination. I make it every single Christmas time. So I basically just make a little tiny square for each blini. So I'm just gonna make this into 16 little squares by doing 3 cuts each way. A good thing to use for these is a pizza cutter. And I was going to suggest that, I think I suggested it in the equipment for the phyllo pastry. I would have used it if I had one here, but I don't. So I'm sorry about that. That's why I haven't been using it. So you just place, oops, there, a piece of salmon on each blini. I do have excessively clean hands, just so you know. And as I said, Sally and I are in the same bubble, so there aren't any issues there.
So there's layers and layers of that smoke.
Yes, exactly. So about, I think there are only 2 layers, but they're decent layers. I'm just gonna, there you go.
Ooh, yes.
Now you can see.
Lovely.
So I'm just putting each little square onto each.
Oh, I can't wait to get this.
Do you know, there was a year.
In my mouth.
Good. There was a year, Sally, when Puccini, well, Boheme, essentially paid my rent for the year because I did 4 different productions
of which role?
Of Musetta. I've only ever sung Musetta in it. Oh, look, there's not enough on that one. I'm just going to, I would open another packet, but I also said in the ingredients 150 grams of smoked salmon, but I've actually only used 100, but you know.
Looks loads to me.
Yeah, exactly. It's fine, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I took that very famous Copley, oh dear, I just smudged my mascara. That very famous Copley production that was at the Royal Opera House to Istanbul.
Ah, and how was Istanbul?
It was amazing. Where we were, there was a bomb had gone off at a shopping centre close to where we were staying, like just beforehand, so that was a bit worrying. And I had an 18-month-old, so
with you?
No, I didn't bring her because I was worried about that kind of thing. But it was such an extraordinary city.
So what's this?
This is creme fraiche. So I am going to put about, I can't remember how much I said now because I can't see but about 150 grams in this bowl. And then my secret ingredient is wasabi. I put about a teaspoon in, I would say. And then you actually need to use a fork to scoop it up.
What is wasabi?
Wasabi is like horseradish.
Is it horseradish?
It's like a horseradish. It's a different kind of horseradish.
Okay, it's a kind of horseradish.
Now, I could probably find out.
Well, I've always, I thought it was a thing on its own, and then I heard that it was actually horseradish.
Yeah.
And horseradish is strong, isn't it? And like,
oh, it is. Yeah.
Makes your nose goes thin.
Yeah, this does too, but it's so delicious with this dish. Right, now this is a little trick that I love to use as well. It takes so much less time when you do it this way. I have to apologise in advance. It's a plastic bag, but when I use them, I reuse them. I wash them and reuse them. I'm going to spoon all of this, now that I've mixed in the wasabi to that cream. I'm going to spoon it all. Where did I throw that? Oh, I threw this back into the sink. Anyway, what I need is a spatula. Here we are. I can see a bit of a lump. Do watch out for little lumps of green in your cream, because that might give someone a nasty shock. I'm just saying.
Yep, it can mix it in well.
Yeah. So into your bag, just dump it in there. And this will take, what I love about this canapé is that it's so easy and takes so little time, and yet is so impressive, because it's such a perfect flavour combination, in my humble opinion. So then, try and ease all of that down to the one corner. If you have proper piping bags, by all means, use those. But in this
I'm
instance,
snipping the tiniest
very
bit off.
tiny tip, so it's about 3 millimeters.
Tiny tip.
And I'm just going to, hopefully you can see this, I'm just going to, whoopsie, make sure the air is out of the top. Pipe a bit on there.
Lovely.
So it doesn't need to be perfect, because you're going to shove a bit of caviar on there. I say shove, but you place it very gently, of course.
How lovely. So, Madeleine, whilst you're doing that, oh, you're
Yes, that's, well, Sally, if you wouldn't mind taking a wee look at those while I pipe.
Oh, they look quite done to me.
Oh, very good. Okay, yep. Go ahead and take them out, if you will.
Oh, they look lovely and brown.
Okay,
Like
right. I'll
somebody
just.
who's really nicely toasted from having been to Spain for
Yes.
a few days.
Let me just grab those out of the oven. Fabulous. So if yours are done, please take them out of the oven. And when they're cool enough, we'll pop those on a plate as well. Ready for our, in a wee while. I'll show them to you in a sec. They're sort of a pale gold. Right, the next job is the fake caviar, which incidentally does taste very nice. It's not unpleasant, in fact, quite the opposite. So I use the teeniest spoons I could possibly find, and I just grab probably about a quarter of a teaspoon from there. And
just need a tiny bit because it's salty.
Yes, exactly. And you
Salty
just,
in tissue.
yeah,
Look at that shine.
yeah, just
Shiny.
push it onto that little mound of cream there. Very good.
And you just buy it from your regular
Supermarket. It's normally in the section of the smoked fish and prawns and stuff. And the blinis are often there too, actually. I've noticed. It's obviously a very popular canapé. Probably has been since the 60s or something like that.
But it's just inspiring. You need to make them.
Oh, good. Well, the thing that I think is lovely about them for Christmas particularly, my favourite Christmas canapé, and one that I do every year, is this with a champagne cocktail. You know, that beautiful champagne cocktail which has a sugar lump, some cognac or armagnac or brandy, and some Angostura bitters, and topped up with champagne. It tastes like Christmas, that cocktail. Have you had it before? Classic champagne cocktail.
I've not really been introduced to cocktails.
Ooh.
So I'm thrilled I'm here this evening.
I'm sounding a
I
bit.
know we're not going to have that champagne. We're going to have something else.
Great. Now, once you've done your little piles of, some of them are a bit haphazard, but that's about it.
Oh, lovely. Variety was wonderful.
Indeed. You know, and we're not, trying to be a Michelin star restaurant here either. Though we can always attempt. Try our hardest. This is some dill. I've ripped up a few pieces here, but basically what we're after are the little fronds at the end, because they look very pretty. Make sure you've got a little bit of stem there, and just literally stick it in.
Oh, lovely. Christmas trees.
Yeah.
Or desert islands.
That's right. And, you know, Christmas trees, that's quite sort of, you know, Bohemianish as well because of the winter scene. I'm clutching at straws, you know, but
The Carmen, La Boheme that I sang Mimi in at Opera North all those years ago, they had got a local, I don't know who it was, but I think a restaurant provided amazing food
Oh,
for
wow.
the Cafe Momus scene. So we had chicken legs, potato salad, tomato salad. We had this table absolutely laden with amazing food. So nobody ate anything
oh, wow.
before the show.
Oh,
So we got to
brilliant.
that, we were all just tucking in and going, you know, shame I have to sing.
Gosh, I would be too. I think I'm trying to remember when I've had to eat in an opera, and I think the only time I ever had to, like I never did in Bohème. Mazzetta's too busy throwing plates around and screaming most of the time in the eating scenes. Oh, sorry, Mazzetta, I mean.
Mimi sings very little in that Cafe Momus scene.
Yeah.
So I got to eat a whole chicken leg and all sorts of stuff.
Did I say Mazzetta?
I think you did.
Oh, good, yeah. Yeah, I do love doing that scene. Yeah, but I think the only time I ever ate on stage was during Così. I did a Così fan tutte with my sister singing Dorabella in New Zealand. And in one of the scenes, we were throwing chocolates at each other. I can't remember why, and eating them. I can't even remember which duet or scene it was. I think it was a recitative. And my throat was somehow, there was a lot of
Sugar.
no, a lot of dry ice. And my throat was so dry, and I thought, I've got no water on stage, what can I do? And I thought to myself, you know, chocolate's going to be weird, it will coat my mouth and make me feel odd, but actually it worked a treat. I was really surprised. So those are your Bohemian Blinis with smoked salmon and poor man's caviar. There you go. So that's that one done. Now we'll get another beautiful flat plate for our Carmen cigars.
So Madeleine, what do you think it is that makes you a musetta and makes me a Mimi? What do you think it is? Why were you asked to do that role and I was asked to do the other role? What do you think?
Oh, good question. I don't know.
I don't know either.
I was, my voice has darkened over time, but I was sort of a lyric connoisseur for a while, and Musetta is often sung by that voice type. Now, I'm just going to show these. But it was also, well, no, I had done it before I did it at the Opera House. And do you know what? I really don't know. All I remember is that I accidentally drank a lot the night before my first audition for when I did my first Musetta, and it was the best audition I've ever done. I do not endorse that. It's just that it was just that I was very relaxed because I was, I had just decided that whatever would happen, and I wasn't too worried about it. Yeah.
Ooh, they look fantastic.
Right, here we go. These are the
Really
Carmen cigars.
fantastic.
Ta-da!
Oh, look at that. Gorgeous. So we've got Bohemian cigars.
No, Bohemian Blinis.
Bohemian Blinis.
With smoked salmon, caviar, wasabi cream, and dill. And these are Sally Burgess's. The Sally Burgess, which is the Carmen cigar, phyllo cigar with chorizo, goat's cheese, and thyme.
Yay.
So we have our food.
I promise to share them with you, Madeleine.
You can take them home. Take them home. I've actually, you know, I will admit that 8 was rather too many to eat in one sitting, so I don't recommend it, but, you know, if it works, it works.
Brilliant.
Lockdown, anything goes, doesn't it? I'm just going to pop those on the
She's
table.
not letting me eat them.
Oh, sorry.
I've got to wait. No, I think I probably
Yeah,
need
wait
to,
till you've got something.
I need to wait for the next bit. Just saying.
I'm just going to turn the oven off because I don't have to use that anymore. And I don't want to waste electricity. Right, my next jobby
Have we got any questions?
Yes. Have we got any questions?
Maybe it's all very, 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 very clear.
I don't know about that. We don't have anything coming through, so I'm just going to continue. The next thing I'm going to do is, I feel like the Kiri Te Kanawa cocktail should be the grand finale, and I just have to say, the cat is about to hop on the table to eat the food, so I'm just, thank you, Sally. Don't. I'm going to make this strawberry Rossini. Now, I always thought, I had my first Rossini when I was in Munich for the first time, and I'd just seen Edita Gruberova singing in Roberto Devereux, and it was the first time I'd been to an opera in Germany, and it was extraordinary, and I thought, well, I might as well celebrate with an opera-themed cocktail. So I did, and now here I'm going to try and replicate it, but I always thought it was with raspberries. But a Rossini is actually a strawberry Bellini, so apologies for that error, though I did get it right when I did the ingredients list, so thank goodness. So we don't need that. What am I doing? This little processor is a stick blender attachment. This is my stick blender. This is the lid of the processor. I do want to really apologize that in my equipment list, I didn't say, don't use a NutriBullet for this. You could for this one, but I wouldn't recommend it, but especially not for the kiwi fruit, because it obliterates and grinds all of the kiwi fruit seeds, and it's quite unpleasant when you do that. So the best thing to do is to use a small food processor, or if you have a nice wooden crushy thing, go ahead and use that mallet, I guess it would be called. I've got some strawberries here. I'm going to plop my strawberries into here, all very scientific. I think I said 150 grams. I think that's about that. Then, with a board that I'm soon to locate by magic, I'm going to cut a lemon with a knife that I'm going to locate by magic. You know, this is what makes cake tutorials easy. You're only working with one type of ingredient, which is sugar. Right. I use an entire lemon for this, and if your strawberries are super duper 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 sweet and ripe, you don't need any sugar. But some people like to use sugar syrup or a little bit of sugar in this, so I might just put in a teaspoonful of sugar if I can locate some sugar, which I haven't done. Sally, I think one of those. Oh, well done! Gosh, you're clever. Is it sugar or salt? Very good. Yeah. We have some sugar, people. This is good times. We also have a really exciting event coming up, which is Sally opening the bottle of Prosecco. Because I refuse. I've had too many. The last time I opened a bottle of Prosecco, it left a mark in the ceiling. So I don't want to be responsible for that. Right, so I'm actually going to pour, probably not all of it. I think I can't remember how much I said. I know, it was on special. I wouldn't normally buy that one, but it was on special. Right, I'm going to pour about half of it. I can't remember what I said in the ingredients list, but it was about that. I probably could have just juiced half a lemon, but you know, I'll put it in something else. A gin. Yes, a teaspoon of sugar. This is icing sugar, actually. Good. C'est parfait. And now for the lid and the blasting. I don't have a cocktail shaker. What you can do is fill the cocktail shaker full of ice after you've blended this, then shake it up with a little bit of extra Prosecco in the cocktail shaker, and then strain it into your glasses. But I don't have a cocktail shaker, so I can't do that. It just makes it a bit colder. Ooh, exciting. So I'm doing this the very easy way, and I'm literally just going to strain that into a processor cool
Okay, just letting you know that the cork's coming out.
Oh, okay.
In case
Well,
it goes bang.
You're on the screen, look.
Do you want me to put it in there? If it all bubbles over, but I don't think it will. I'm doing what I think you're supposed to do. Doing it with my, pushing up with my.
Oh gosh, I can't. The suspense is killing me. I'm just going to pour that through into here, and you know what? I've forgotten a spoon again to ease it through. You need a teaspoon to push it through a little bit, or stir on the strainer to strain it through. Beg your pardon. Lots of people say, well, hardcore mixologists say you shouldn't use a blender for strawberries.
Sorry about that, folks. Well, I'm not.
There you go. There's your assignment for the week.
Because now we've got the second.
But you know, how brilliant that it didn't go everywhere.
No, but it hit the ceiling.
That's okay. There's no mark.
It shouldn't go everywhere, should it?
No.
No.
But goodness me. Oh, well done. Oh, sorry, Sally. How's your heart? Yeah. So just when it's no longer putting out much liquid, you can get rid of that pulp. Or if you don't mind the seeds, you can keep the pulp in, but it's actually not all that nice to drink with strawberry seeds. Don't worry about this messy sink. I will clean that up. Yeah, and I'm just going to do, I'm not going to do all of it because it takes the time and there are only two of us at the moment. Now, the thing about both of these cocktails, and one of the things about them, apart from being opera themed, is that they both have citrus added. So they, you have to add the Prosecco very slowly and bit by bit because the extra acid in the cocktail means that it does froth out more than usual. So even tilting the glass and dribbling the Prosecco down the side doesn't work in general. So that might be a good job.
Scientific experiment
for Sally. Look, let's make our first things. Right. It's all right, I finished with the strainer. Here is our strawberry syrup, strawberry lemon and sugar syrup. Delish. You pour, I would say, about that much into the glass. Can you see? It's about I would say a fifth, because I wouldn't fill the glass right up to the top. So this,
oh, look.
Yeah, I know. There is actually more in here, but I'm just not going to spend the time straining the extra, because I know we've only got 10 minutes left.
Yummy, yum.
We've still got our Kiwi Takanawa Bellini to go, which is a total singer medicinal cocktail. Right, Sally, have a look at this. You'll see what I mean. It'd be so funny if it didn't happen. Yeah, it goes extra frothy, so you have to do it very slowly.
Ooh.
Yeah, bit by bit. So I'm going to start on the kiwi fruit Bellini while Sally keeps pouring in bit by bit.
So you don't stir it, you stir it
at the end.
Okay, you just keep pouring it in.
Yeah, you could stir it in between things. You see, because you can use a spoon from the
Yeah, well, I'll do what you said.
All right. But it might be better if you stir it in. I haven't tried that. I'm going to save the rest of that lemon juice, put it in a cup, so that I can juice a lime for the next cocktail. So I had to ask Dame Kitty via Dame Kitty's lovely right-hand person, Gillian Newsom, and Kitty has approved this cocktail, thank goodness. So I think it's kind of perfect in several ways, partly because it obviously has a lot of New Zealand themed ingredients, the kiwi fruit, the manuka honey, actually that's all the kiwi things. The use of lime in place of lemon, and fresh ginger and manuka honey is very much a singer's remedy, I think. Do you ever do that? Lemon, ginger and honey all the time?
Honey, yeah.
It's brilliant.
It's got special
it does.
Stuff in it.
Now my Manuka honey,
Naturally.
I decanted from a giant vat of it that I have at home that was brought over from very kind family members. Right, so I've already measured out my kiwi fruit. This is 2 kiwi fruit, and I'm going to cut the last one up. And whoops, oh, very clean bench there. Going to cut the last one up just so I can show you. This is the lemon board, so fear not, it is clean. And this is the lemon knife. Here it is. What I do. If you really don't want seeds, you can strain this, or you can try and cut the seeds out. But you're going to get rid of a lot of flesh if you try and cut the seeds out, so just bear that in mind. Sally has already expressed her dismay at how much flesh I cut off anyway, but it's mainly to not discolour the cocktail. But if you desperately don't like waste, then I completely appreciate that. So I use a knife to peel the kiwi fruit. This is how I've always done it, apart from when I was at school and we'd, cut it in half and eat it with a spoon. Has this been a popular fruit in the UK? I don't know. Is it?
I think so, yes. I think suddenly kiwi fruits appeared at some point in history when I guess New Zealanders decided it was a good thing to export.
Yeah.
And yeah.
These are actually incidentally exported from New Zealand. So there's this white central core that I'm just getting rid of, but I'm retaining the seeds because I think they're lovely. And this one I don't strain because I actually really love the pulp and the seeds. I think it's about the 3rd time I've said it. Sorry about that. Look at that. Look at that colour. Oh, so good. I know I'm coming across like a bit of a lush, but
the colour of these.
The camera doesn't lie.
Of those.
These.
Or those.
Well, this as well. I mean, this would be
all the colours. I'm wearing the right dress, aren't I?
Well, exactly.
Green and orange.
So I'm always very envious of how colourful you are, Sally, because I really don't. I adore wearing colours, but all of my colourful dresses don't fit me anymore because of excessive consumption of food during lockdown. I am one of the victims. Right, now, the next thing to put into the food processor along with the kiwi fruit is, I've written 2 teaspoons, but if your kiwi fruit is not very ripe, or if you're not a hot ginger fan, then I would just put 1 teaspoon in. So I've just literally grated that ginger. So it's in a little pulpy form, but I'm just going to use my fingers actually to take that out because there's a bit more than a teaspoon in there. And I don't want to go all the way to the teaspoon. So it will waste time. Right, next, lime. Cutting up the lime. Sally, would you mind grabbing me that lid, please? Oh, dearie me. Just to make sure you rinse the lemon off your lemon squeezer and squeeze your lime. It's so good. I had quite a lot of this last night. So the only thing, I haven't been able to start a diet because I keep recipe testing.
Yeah.
And I sort of don't trust my husband's judgment because he says he likes everything I make, which I'm sure he does. But it means that...
What's that? Oh, this is
the Manuka honey, sorry, the Manuka honey. And you can use any honey you like. I just think that because, Kitty is a singer, Kitty is, a New Zealander, that Manuka was rather fitting. And I love the flavour. I do have to say though, and this is a little bit of a, what's the word? Not barbaric. Anyway, my favourite honey actually comes from Tasmania. It's not Manuka honey. We're just making sure that it's a pulp, not too bitty, but also not smashed up to smithereens of you hit the seeds too much. See, the seeds are all whole still, which is fantastic. The reason I know about the NutriBullet issue is because I tried it the first time I got a NutriBullet.
Okay.
And it was brown and gross.
Oh,
And you just don't want to do it.
so the colour goes, but
The
also
colour, but also the
flavour and
yeah. There's a
gritty bits.
yes. There's a bitterness. That's not how Kiwis say bitter. To the seeds and also that horrible gritty flavour. So I'm just going to get a teaspoon, and I've got 2 more glasses here. Look, we're really done. Gosh, that's perfect timing. Look at that.
Yeah. 2 teaspoons.
Oh, look, I'll just do it like this. Yummo. Right, there we go. And the other glass. So there's enough in here, probably for about 4 or 5 glasses, actually.
Lovely.
Here we go.
And then you put.
They're not equal.
Second.
You do. Oh, you put it in the fridge. Goodness me. So diligent.
I'm quite a good sous chef. So you just pour it in.
Yeah, same thing happens because it's got lime in it, of course. So you've got your. Oh, careful, Sally. We're going to have quite a bit of fun tonight after this. I feel.
Yes. I told my family I'd be home about 9 o'clock, but I think that's wrong.
Hey, are you walking?
I'm walking.
Oh,
yeah.
very good.
Oh no.
Classic.
So that's what happens if
case
you
in
do
point.
If you do it wrong.
Yeah. Case in point. I've got a long spoon here for stirring, which is very exciting.
Oh, this one's different. Look, this one. Well, maybe I'm just pouring it better. Like less fast. Yay.
So you can probably top up the Rossinis a little bit too.
Okay.
I say. We're almost done here.
Whoa, no, look.
Do you see, wasn't it sneaky of me to get you to do that and not embarrass myself by doing it myself? Because I'm meant to know what I'm doing, and in some ways I do, but the number of times I overflowed them while I was pouring.
Okay,
so this one looks amazing.
Very controlled with this one.
I'm going to put this next to the screen. Oh dear, I've got some splashes of Cigar on my computer in there. Looks so delicious when you stir it up.
Yes.
And look, something I forgot to do, but I'll do it now. A slice of kiwi fruit to put on top.
Oh, yes.
Except I've lost my other kiwi fruit. Look, the last thing I need to do, and I've forgotten where I put the kiwi fruit.
Yay.
No.
How lovely. Look at these. Gorgeous. Okay.
Oh, there they are. The last thing to do is put a slice of kiwi fruit and a slice of strawberry on your lovely cocktails to make them look pretty. But also, if you have the slice of kiwi fruit on the top, you get that lovely whiff of kiwi fruit by your nose every time you take a sip. And then you can eat it at the end. Or if it drops into your drink, that doesn't matter either. As long as it doesn't drop on the floor.
Well, look at the difference with the pulp of,
isn't it?
Because we put the pulp in these kiwi fruit ones, and we just put the juice of the strawberries in the strawberry ones. That they don't actually require stirring. I haven't stirred them. Isn't that interesting?
Did I stir them? No, I didn't.
No, I did.
So I've just peeled the kiwi fruit again, and make sure if you put a slice up to a radius slice up into the middle, but don't go to the end of the opposite edge of the white, or it will go all the way through, and eventually one half of the kiwi fruit will drop into your drink and the other half will drop on the floor.
Gorgeous. Perfect timing, Magda.
And then we do the same with some strawberries. Stunning.
Yay!
I'll just grab the food and then we'll have our spread.
Oh, absolutely gorgeous.
Only a little bit of tidying up. So this
How
actually would be
absolutely
fairly perfect
gorgeous.
for Christmas because of all these lovely colours, you see. Especially in New Zealand where it's Christmas in summer.
Christmas
But
every
then
day.
I do find that you do need to bring a lot of colour to Christmas in the Northern Hemisphere as well. So there we are, we have our opera-themed
yes.
spread. The Rossini, the
Well, I think we should.
Takanawa Bellini. Which one? What do you want to try first? This is
Well,
the quandary, you know.
I don't know. I'm picking this one.
Okay.
Cheers.
All right. Cheers.
Thank you for
It's a pleasure.
a lovely evening.
We have a lovely evening ahead too. I
Being cooked for. Cheers.
It's very nice, isn't it?
Ooh, all those flavours. Well, I'm getting strawberries. No saddles, I'm afraid. I'm getting what did Nikki say at the beginning?
Hedgehog.
Mm-mm.
No,
No hedgehog. Oh, it's lovely. The lime.
that's lemon and that
Oh,
one.
this is lemon.
Why don't you have a sip
That's
of this
lime.
one and compare? Just for the viewers out there.
Okay.
We to try that
Ginger. Ginger. Well, this one's quite different because this one's quite thick.
Yeah, so it's almost like an alcoholic smoothie, really. So
Yeah.
if you don't like that, by all
Mm.
means, strain it.
So, but probably if I stirred it up, even though.
Yeah.
So you mustn't
Wait.
stir it because I've drunk this. If I did that, it might be different. So you might need to serve it with a stick or a spoon.
Yeah. Whatever. Yeah, it's lovely. Look, you can have it for breakfast, I feel.
The thing is, it's very, 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 very healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Definitely.
sound like I've gone a bit tiddly already, but I've only had 2 sips.
Wow. Yeah, and it's the
Thank
Kiwi.
you.
It's a pleasure. I hope that you have been able to follow what I've been doing. As I say, normally my tutorials, which are all on my Diva Kitchen website, are to do with cake. But look, I've really enjoyed it. So yeah, enjoy your home watching opera with your opera canapes. I'm sure you'll find plenty. There's a lot of amazing content online if you can't get to any opera live, which is likely at the moment. Even though there is a show at Glambourne tonight, which I believe Nikki is a part of, which is live. So it is happening in some places, outdoors.
Yeah.
I'm actually not sure how this finishes.
So,
I'm hoping
Emily,
Yes, thank you very much. That was lovely. We will just say cheers. I am cheersing you as we speak. And thank you so much.
It's a pleasure. And we haven't actually tasted the food.
no.
Yes, I think everyone get nibbling and do let us know how they all turned out. You can always send them to us. Delicious. Okay, well, cheers and good night.
All right, thank you so much.
Thanks.